Hello and welcome back to awtoolbox.com. My name is Glenn Keller, and in this demo we are taking a brief look at the advanced search in Active Workspace. We've talked about this in previous videos as well as reviewed other types of searches, but we felt like as a user coming into the system, if you are going to be a super user or search for data that is administrative in nature or data that maybe isn't indexed or a part of this global search, you still need to be able to identify and find information. And that is really the goal of the advanced search. So on the search results page, you can see there's an advanced search up here across the top. So you can see it right there. If I select it and then it opens up, we talked about picking the right type of search. So just note that on occasion in a production system, the indexing search, the one up at the top, the global search, may get updated nightly. So if you have a lot of data that's changing, maybe that isn't quote unquote real time, and if you need to find something and make sure that the data is legit, this advanced search will allow you to do that. Now, the advanced search is much slower. It does comb the entire database versus just a small subset of it. But there are a couple of key aspects with this search. First of all, you need to know what you're searching for. So this top area will contain either out-of-the-box searches or it will contain searches that have been configured for your environment that will give you fields that you can search on. So in the previous example, we came in and we saw that this item ID one gives us an item ID field. This would be similar to typing ID : and then putting 090 or 090 star and running a search. But in this case, we do 090 star, and the wildcards are always going to be needed here. So I'm going to go ahead and click search, and what it does is it returns me the items for that search. And so pay attention to the type that you're returning, and we'll get into types of data in a little bit. We've already spoken about it a little bit in the previous video. So in this case, it searched on that. If I wanted more than one, I could use a semicolon and say *00 star and hit search. You can also press enter to execute the search and it will include that data as well. It did change a little bit, so you can see I've got 89 results up here. And you can see it's applying both filters. Not really filters in this case, but if I get rid of that, now it's 59 results instead of the 89. So adding an additional item ID to the search or additional value to the field is just a semicolon by default. Now, other search types that you'll see in here are things like general. General, when it opens up in 2506, is blank, but in previous versions, there'll be pre-populated data in here, and you'll want to hit clear all to clear that out. But general will allow you to search on other attributes. Beyond ID, maybe you've got the name of something, the description, the type, what have you. So in this case, I'm going to come down and I'm going to say I want only data owned by this InfoDBA user. And in here, maybe I want it all created after September of 2020. And then hit search. So I need to have at least one field in there. You can see I get a bunch of information. I got 1,000+ results on data versus what I was searching on in the any category search in the global. I was only getting a few hundred because a lot of these, like these translation services, are more administrative type of data. So I'll get more in the system. Now, in this case, I'm going to hit clear all. The general search is really nice if I want to search for maybe a name that includes mount and I want the type to be item revision. I can just start typing item space revision and it will narrow it down for me. And then I can hit search and then I can find those objects here. Now be careful. We want to make sure that we're opening the right object. So I'm looking over at the right hand side and you can see that the type has filtered down accordingly. So the objects I'm looking at are item revisions. So if I pull this down, just as a frame of reference, there are a ton of these. So audits and administrative type queries. You may see more or less, but one that I do recommend is using, if you're searching for files, make sure that you're using the dataset name or dataset queries. These are designed to only show you the latest file, whereas Active Workspace and Teamcenter will store up to by default, 3 copies of that file, and you don't want to open up a previous copy. So if I come into dataset name, for instance, and I just do, let's find something that says star rec star, hit enter to execute, and you can see there's a ton of these in the system that contain the word rec. If I look, I get 64 results. Now, if I go down and I do just a general search for the type of data set, 64 is what we had before, and I do star rec star. Hit search, no search results found. So in this case, it didn't even find a data set that contained star rec star in it. So you will get different definitions. I recommend doing dataset for those. If you scroll down further, you can search for everything from proxies, programs. You can look at queries, workflows that are in process or in progress. The sky's kind of the limit on the different searches that can be applied here. And if you don't have what you need, you can always make a request to your administrative team to see if they can sort out the issue for you. So advanced searching gives you kind of that backbone search that'll pull out everything in the whole system. It's not usually the one that we want to go with, just due to the fact that it takes a lot longer to do that search with, but it is our fallback in case something goes awry with the global search. Now, the search results for the general search up here, if I do a general search again, I'm going to do a mount again. I'm going to do a type filter here of item revision. And then if I clear out this other data set, I'll hit search and I get my objects back. So just note that when you're interacting with this, you get similar things that you can interact with the search results for. You'll get things like add to dashboard, which we'll talk about. This goes into active reports. And then you have your search settings, and those are going to be very similar to what we had seen in the previous go. So searching is very powerful in Teamcenter and Active Workspace. You have not seen all that searching can do in the system, but you have gotten a nice step up on what you can execute when looking for data. Stay tuned for future videos as we utilize searching for actual use cases in the system, and we try and reinforce the knowledge that you've gained here.